So let's talk about the nightmare stalker. This is when evil invades your dreams, when random text messages come in that harass you, when you get the shaking feeling that someone won't leave you alone. What if you realize that this person became a shapeshifter, taking on a new face each time they return? What if this wasn't just a psychological disturbance, but a calculated attack on your energy, your soul, your very essence? This is not just a question of paranoia, but a terrifying reality for those who experience spiritual warfare at its highest level. For years, people have dismissed the term evil, or even avoided discussions of figures like Satan or Lucifer. But what if some stalkers were not just obsessed individuals, but were agents of something much darker? What if they used divination, abuse, dark magic, energy manipulation, and supernatural abilities to torment their victims? This video will explore the terrifying possibility of an obsessed narcissistic stalker with access to people, money, resources, magic, spiritual abilities, and all deep ability and command of psychological manipulation, which are aimed at the destruction of their target, the stalker in the shadows. For some reason, stalking is not just about unwanted attention. It is an ongoing, terroristic, relentless assault on one's peace, security, and sanity. Imagine a stalker who has avoided law enforcement with the skills of a trained spy, someone who never physically appears but makes their presence known through energy, dreams, and technology. Let's talk about the text messages. You may get a call from one number and you block them once. You maybe get a call from another number, you blocked them twice. You may get a call from another number, you blocked them a dozen times. But they have a number generator that generates random number after random number after random number, and they don't stop. And it's hard to detect them because it's a random number. What about when they come into your dreams, hijacking your subconscious, tapping into your memories when you sleep? What if they abuse divination, using tarot, astrology, and other mystical tools, not for insight, but for manipulation, tracking your movements, and planning their next attack? What if they knew things that were about to happen to you before you even knew they were going to happen to yourself? People don't like hearing words like Satan or Lucifer in everyday conversation. But what if these forces are real? Not as cartoonish figures or somehow bedtime stories of malevolent energies working through people. What if the true nature of evil is not just simply selfishness or greed, but a deliberate, calculated effort to destroy people, to mislead people, to take people off their path? What if you had a full-blown, obsessive, malignant, intent, narcissistic stalker, not just seeking attention or validation, but seeking complete domination, feeding off your suffering like an energy vampire feeding off of energetic blood? Understanding the psychological warfare means you must understand the depth of this torment. One must examine the psychological strategies at play. You have gaslighting, making you question your own reality, making you wonder if you're imagining things, making you wonder how certain things are possible. If you talk to other people, would they believe you? Would they think you're crazy? What about intermittent reinforcements, right? You have these messages disappearing, reappearing, messages coming from random places, messages coming from people you can't quite pin down. People will say, oh, well, maybe it's just one of those regular Nigerian individuals trying to scam you, or maybe it's just this, maybe it's just that. But you know, after you look at the messages carefully, that it's more than just your average, everyday con artist. You know that this is a person with a mission. For those who believe in the unseen world, this type of stalking goes beyond psychology and enters the realm of spiritual warfare. Some people are sensitive to energy, able to feel the presence of others, even from a distance. If a stalker has access to dark spiritual practices, they may attempt to play in your energy field, sending negative intentions, performing rituals, using psychic manipulation. You cleanse your energy. You use holy water. You use frankincense, myrrh. You use sage. You use sandalwood. You use whatever you can. And yet despite ringing the bells, despite sounding the gongs, despite using singing bowls, the presence just won't go away. What if you feel drained, nervous, anxious, paranoid without explanation? What if you have a sudden unnatural fixation that you start thinking about the stalker, almost as if they're energetically pulling your attention towards them and you don't want to be thinking of them? This is truly a place where someone invades your boundaries. They demand their own boundaries. In real life, they tell you, stay away from me. I'll call the police if you come near me. But yet, in the spiritual world, in the psychological world, in the mental world, they're playing games with you every day. You block them, you report incidents, you document everything. But would the police even believe your story? They do energetic projections onto you, so you need to do energetic protection of yourself. And you do that, but they still get through. You have psychological fortitude. You recognize their tactics and refuse to engage emotionally. You know it for what it is. But even if they don't get an emotional provocation out of you, they still harass you just to try your patience. The modern stalker is not always a visible threat. Sometimes they are shadows in the subconscious, invaders of dreams, followers of Lucifer, manipulators of energy, those who truly want to use their gifts not to help the world, not to help themselves, but to destroy you and to show you their power. This is why I use words like latent, Satan and Lucifer and narcissist, not as casual insults, not as somehow trying to rewrite the story about figures that maybe have been misunderstood, but to show that evil exists. And you know what? Even if we may not need the name Satan, we may not need these certain types of things. We may not need to blame witches. But there is evil in the world. And the idea of, oh, well, evil is just people just insecure in their own reflection. People are just unable to cope with the fact that we all have problems in the world and we all are a little bit bad and this and that. That's not what I'm talking about here today. I've come to the full realization that life isn't perfect. I don't need to be Saint Nicholas. I don't need to be some holy saint and say that I'm holier than thou and that everything else is evil. That's not what's going on here. But when you literally have a group of one or more people who are able to work behind the scenes, you don't ever see them, you don't ever experience them. They stay away from you with a 10-foot pole, and if you ever came near them, they'll never admit a thing and they won't say a thing. They will take these secrets to their grave. Why? Because they have a mission, and their mission is very dark. And they've been trained to do what they've been trained to do. This is what makes them demons. This is what makes them evil entities. They gave up being like you and me a long time ago, perhaps even when they were children, because this is the life that they were trained to be in. They are assassins. They are trained to come after you, and they do not stop, and they do not quit. They just continue to intensify their efforts because their mission is to never fail. Never, ever fail. Well, unfortunately, they met the wrong target. And so as a result, I'm prepared to fight back as long as it takes because I'm a child of God and I'm chosen. And even though it is a difficult burden that I carry, one that I've run from my whole life, because my whole life, strange things have always happened to me. My mother died when I was extremely young. And they never said that she died from a disease. They never said she died from something that's known, predictable to kill people. The hospital literally stamped her birth certificate at 46 years of age, natural causes. My father was convinced until his dying day that she was a victim of witchcraft. There are things in this world cannot be explained, and I had to eventually come to the realization that whether I believe in dark magic or not, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, and it doesn't mean it's not being used towards me. So therefore, I have to continue to remain vigilant. I pray to the Lord. I pray for salvation. But at the end of the day, this goes far beyond that. This is not just the usual situation in which you say a prayer, hold your Bible, and everything is magically all right again. This is full-blown war. Are you prepared to fight back? Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you're new here, this is a safe space. If you're returning, I love and appreciate you so much, and I'm glad that you're back. In the name of the Most High God, I wish you health, wealth, prosperity, and abundance. Blessings and protection. Signing off. Take care. Have a great day.